Yami Mob, Budgety Murrawari, Bruce Shillingsworth Jr. here. We're going to have this yarn around Australia being a fake and fraudulent construct, and we will go into depth in regards to the evidence. Let's first touch on the original mobs that were here prior to colonisation, before the construct of Australia occurred or was created. The original peoples of this land, First Nations people, had a system. They had a process in place. We know that in the history books, that is the narrative of the invaders or the status quo of the claim that this continent is Australia, that they paint the picture of First Nations people being primitive. A lot of people would probably refer to the narrative terra nullius, which is a false claim, land untouched or land unclaimed. We look at in depth what those systems and processes are, and what clearly comes to mind is our law, the First Nations original sovereign people's law. But it is not our law. It's a law that was created by the Creator. Law refers to the natural way things should be. What's important about law is knowing our place as human beings on this earth. The original peoples and any visitors on this continent are to be governed by Creator law, not the law of man, which is what we clearly see as the issue today. We look at closely colonisation. When Captain Cook landed on the shores, planted the British flag and said that all of these people and this land will come under the British rule. That is a symbol of stealing and a claim to the peoples and the lands to come under the control of the British monarchy. They were financed by the corporations. What you need to know today is that the Australian government, the Commonwealth, or any corporations cannot produce any evidence of claim, whether it's in the form of deeds and titles or whether it's in the form of a bill of sale. No evidence to suggest that the First Nations people have relinquished their roles and responsibilities or have given any power, jurisdiction or authority to any government, commonwealth or corporation. This claim still stands today, with original sovereign people giving out that notion that we have not ceded our sovereignty, we have not relinquished our roles, our responsibilities to this land, to the flora, the fauna, the water and the land. We look at the impacts of colonialisation, the fact that they've changed the maps, a total disregard for the laws of this land, and we can see the difference between the boundaries of the original nations in comparison to the fake, fraudulent colonial Australia. 6 states, 2 territories, 369 original sovereign nations. This is how sovereign and citizens are being disillusioned or being told a lie. This is how the concept of Australia is a fake and fraudulent concept. It was made up. They made this stuff up in 1788. It is not real. It is only something that people identify or understand to be real when it's not. We go back to the important part, which is the fact that these people, whether it's the Commonwealth, the government, or the corporations, the fact that they have no bill of sale or any evidence of transfer of ownership, that means they are simply operating illegally and unlawfully. When we talk about illegally, the way in which they acquired this land was not lawful, even under their own man-made law. When we refer to unlawful, L-O-R-E, it means that these people weren't naturally able or was supposed to colonize and take ownership of this land, and we see the evidence of that today, which is the lack of education, the lack of knowledge, of knowing the management of the peoples, knowing their structures, their culture, their traditions, and understanding the environment, the flora, the fauna, the water, the land, the environment. Their lack of knowledge has seen nothing but destruction, devastation, in the form of extinction of native species, destruction of our lands resulting in mines, the lack and disregard of the culture, the traditions, the humanity of the first peoples on this continent, which resulted in taking, stealing, kidnapping of their children. We come to the point, what needs to be done? What is the solution? It's not about maintaining the status quo and everybody continuously doing what they're doing consistently. People are not acknowledging that the concept of a job feeds the system. People are brainwashed to work and to build this system for the government, the Commonwealth, and the corporations. We look at what needs to be done. Citizens need to assist the original mob to persecute the government, the Commonwealth, or the corporation, including those that work for these colonial, oppressive, genocidal institutions. Citizens need to assist the original mob to persecute these establishments by tribal law, by creator law, by the law of the land. Yalu.